Howdy, in today's video I would like to discuss the topic of giving value and significance to everything. That meaning both specific items in your life or objects, and then people and events. So let's start with objects. So it's important in life that we give value and significance to objects, for example, the cross I wore, because they allow for us to have an understanding and almost as if like a benchmark for our growth. So with this specific example of my cross, I used to wear a very beautiful wooden olive tree cross from Israel, and it was really nice. It was from my grandmother, but one day when I was out and about doing photography, it had been lost and it had fallen off, and now all I have is the string. And you could dwell on that and be upset with that, or you can give it value. It's often that people attribute value to items, and then all of a sudden that value is lost as soon as the item is put away, or if the item itself is lost. But the reality is it still holds a lot of value. It's out there somewhere doing something, and even if it's not with me, I still hold value with it, even in its absence. Because the reality is, you can look at it from the perspective of, oh, it's you don't have it anymore, you failed. Or you can look at it from, this is a test. Am I still able to express my gratitude or my faith to God without a physical reminder that I wear every day? Without a cross, are you still able to keep that remembrance? Are you still able to keep up with your habits? Now all of a sudden you don't have a physical reminder. Does that mean you've outgrown it? Probably not, but maybe it's a test, right? And I even asked my grandmother, who's had gave it to me, and she said, no, this makes sense. This is something I would have wanted for you, right? So we need to give value to these things, these objects in our life, not because they're inherently significant or important, more important than us, but because they can give us insight. And if you look at it from the correct lens, right, an opportunistic or an optimistic lens, then you're able to have a bit more appreciation for their significance, whether they're with you or whether they're not. So the other option, or not necessarily option, but the other avenue is with people and events. So people, obviously, you always want to give people value. I firmly believe that I hold no value as a human being, but everybody else I talk to is like this perfect angel, and I must love and care for them. Now, granted, there are people who I'd love more than others, but I still firmly believe I should care and protect everybody. But I'm going to jab myself a little bit here and say, yeah, no, there is a little certain someone who I would love and care for more than anything else. But anyways, I'm getting off topic here. So we need to give value and significance to people as well, because even in their absence, you can be appreciative of the mark that they left on you, right? You can think of like even Uncle Ben from Spider-Man, right? If he didn't die, Spider-Man wouldn't have learned a lesson about being a good person and having responsibilities as a superhero, right? So even in the absence of people, we need to be appreciative for them. I lost someone who was very special to me recently, and if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't be here today, and I wouldn't be enacting every possible good that I can to become a better man. And while they're there, you can't take advantage of them or take them for granted. You must be appreciative at all times, and you must remind yourself and jab yourself and think to yourself, wow, I'm so appreciative for this person. This person brings so much value. They changed my life. They changed my perspective. Because it's so often, this is back to the awareness tier system. I'd recommend you watch that video. It's pretty good. But so often people just aren't reaching that second or third tier of awareness where they're realizing how much value people have and the consequences of their value. Because the truth is, you wouldn't be where you are today if other people just had like little pokes at your life. Especially people like your parents who had directly influenced your life and its outcome. So you need to be appreciative for the people and then realize the impact that they have. It's too often that people get into crummy situations without realizing how much impact the others around them have. Right? If you can realize how much impact the other people around you have, you won't do things like go to parties or drugs or so much more, because you'll realize it's a bad crowd. But if you realize that they are having a good impact on you, then you can be more appreciative and embrace it. And you can be thankful, and that can make you so much of a better person. Right? Would you not be happier and healthier if you were so much more aware? right? And it's in that honesty with yourself and others that you can truly be a better human being. And that's personally my goal. So now events too, right? I kind of group people and events together because more often than not, events include people. But I'm talking about events like a loss of someone, or events like going out with people, or just something that happened in your life, right? This could be even like the rain, right? You are walking to school or your class and it started raining on you. Well, that's a pretty good event because you can either just get upset and give it no value, or you can give it a positive, or I guess you'd be giving it a negative value, but you should give it a positive value. Think, oh yeah, I'm being tested, or I'm going to show up soaking wet, but I don't care, I'm going to do the work anyways, or this is awesome, yeah, I hope it rains harder, I wish I get struck by lightning. Wouldn't that be awesome, right? Now, from the outside perspective, it could be, oh, this sucks, but by giving it so much value and so much positive significance, you're taking away all the danger, or not, sorry, not necessarily the danger, but you're taking away the inherent negativity in the event. People look at rain as this horrible thing, but getting rained on is like almost freeing because you don't care about everything else. You're just living and surviving. And even if you do care about other things, which is also important, right? You're caring about getting to your class, you're caring about all the thoughts in your mind relating to people and relationships and the work you have. You can still appreciate it in the sense that you're being tested and you're being trained, because the event of the rain will make you, I guess, a harder individual, as David Goggins would put it. If you know anything about him, you know he loves the rain and he loves running in the rain. But this doesn't have to be something like the rain. It can be something like an abnormally cold day, or someone telling you something you didn't quite appreciate, or a test that you failed. Anything. You got to give value to things, right? Give value to objects, events, and people, because if you give them value, a specifically positive value, right, where you're optimistic and you have a good outlook and you're taking opportunity, then you should have a better life. No doubt about it. Because by taking, or by not necessarily taking, by giving value to things, you're all of a sudden adding meaning that you wouldn't have realized. And it's through that meaning that you can be more honest, be more genuine, and be a better person. And I pray for the day that somebody can realize the amount of value I'm giving to them. Because when you do that, again, a little off topic here, but if you can do that in a partner scenario, then it would make for a really good relationship. But that's a bit of a topic for another day. I'm going a bit off track here. Just trying to say that relationships revolve around adding value to little or big things, because without the value, you can't be so appreciative for one another. And healthy relationships have that third tier of awareness where they're constantly recognizing the value of others and their consequences of the value, oftentimes positive consequences. But anyways, that's it. I can't keep on going forever here. I have some responsibilities to get to soon. But my name is Nolan T. Painter. Thank you very much for watching.